and welcome back to the 410. My name is Adrian, your host, and we are back on a Taco Tuesday with a big show here. Of course, the Orioles lost a heartbreaker the other day in extra innings. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the NBA action on Sunday. They couldn't have got any better. My goodness, the playoffs almost set. We're going to get into that. The WNBA, they had a great draft. We're going to talk about that and how exciting it is to be in the WNBA. Before we get into that, K-Hill Electric on standby. For any electrical needs, whether it be big, small, you let them know what you need. They're going to be on the way with the best service, the best price in town, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. All right, the Orioles, of course, I don't want to cry again. They didn't get the job done. I thought we were going to have a first 2-game winning streak to talk about here. But another game here today against the Guardians. Dean Krimmer on the mound. We need you to pitch a little better than what you've been. His ERA is over Kobe Bryant, y'all. We need him to bring that down. We need the bats to get going. Of course, Cedric Mullins, he's been a very steady force on offense. I need the rest of y'all to take note and keep on rolling like he's been rolling here. Tyler O'Neill, he started off hot. He done cooled off. I need him to pick up the slack here. And, of course, Gunner, I need you to get well, man. I know you're getting back in the form, so we're not even going to worry about that. But, however, today, the Orioles, they're going to be a lock. I'm putting a chip on the Orioles. They're going to win the game today. Next up, of course, WNBA. They had their draft last night. We're going to talk a little bit about how Paige Beckers is going to bring a whole nother field. We got Caitlin Cup, Angel Reese. You got all these players in the WNBA that are brand new, bringing all these exciting young players into the fold. Is nothing but good for the game of basketball. It's nothing but good for these young players. Next up, of course, we're going to get into the NBA action. Of course, it's Sunday. My goodness, it was nothing but that. Everybody was trying to play for the playoff season. Everybody was playing for the NBA playoff lives. I did my best to give you some good picks here. The lock was no good. We're just going to roll down the line and see how we ended up doing. Atlanta Hawks, they played against the Magic. Atlanta was our pick in this game. They won this game 117-105. Keaton Wallace, he had a triple-double. Of course, they see each other here in the first round of the playoffs, so they didn't want to expose their hands. But if they can get some production out of Keaton Wallace like that, I'm definitely considering that being my pick. Next game up is going to be Boston going up against the Hornets. Of course, the Boston Celtics, they have already proven that they are definitely a force going into the playoffs here. They didn't need to do anything but rest up the rest of their players. Peyton Pritchard here had 34 points in this game. They didn't, however, cover the spread. They were our pick. They won this game, however, 93-86. Next game up was the Knicks going up against the Nets. Of course, Mikal Bridges, he has a streak. He couldn't lose that, so he jumped in the game. He made a foul in 6 seconds and went sat on the bench, rest up for the playoffs here. The Knicks still won this game 113-105. They were our pick. Next game up was the Pacers going against Cleveland Cavaliers. This is one of those disappointing games of the night. We took Cleveland plus the 6.5. They were up by 23 points in this game. And guess what, y'all? They ended up losing this game in double overtime to the Pacers. 126-118, killing our pick for the night. Next game up was supposed to be our lock. I don't know if the only person that got the memo was Jamie Jaquez Jr. for the Miami Heat. But he seemed like he was the only person playing for them. The Wizards actually won this game at the buzzer. Bub Carrington got the job done, 119-118. We'll see if Cooper Flagg can make his way to the nation's capital next year. Next game up was the Bulls going against the 76ers. Of course, I've been talking about the Bulls all year. Of course, the 76ers fell all the way apart at the end of the year. The Bulls, they ended it on a good note here. They won this game 122-102. They were our pick in this game. Next game up was the Bucks going up against the Pistons. Of course, the Bucks, they had been on a win streak the end of the year there. They didn't need to play Giannis, anything like that, because Pat Connaughton, he had 43 points waiting on Detroit. They won this game in overtime here, 140-133. The Bucks, if they can get some production out of Pat Connaughton like that, watch out for them over there in the East. Next game up was another must-win game. Denver going up against the Rockets. The Rockets, even though they had already solidified their seeding, did play some of their star players here, but Denver didn't care. They were getting this job done. They didn't want no parts of the play-in tournament. They won this game 126-111. However, they didn't get that point spread done by half a point. Next game up was the Grizzlies going up against the Mavericks. The Grizzlies, they didn't want to leave anything to doubt in this game here. They won this game 132-97. We're going to see how they do here in the play-in game. Next game up was the Timberwolves going against the Jazz. And I'm here to tell you that rescinding the technical foul on Ant, that really had a factor in this thing here, because I'm telling you, if Ant didn't play in this game, there was a good chance that the Jazz could have beat Minnesota in this game here because they didn't play the best. They won the game 116 and 105, but that point spread was minus 23.5. They couldn't get that job done even if they thought they could in this game. Next game up was the Thunder going up against the Pelicans. Of course, they've been playing strong all year. I know they were looking at winning 70 games there. They lost a couple at the end, fell short of that, but they ended the year on a positive note here. They won this game 115 to 100. Look for good things to come from OKC here in the next couple of weeks. Next game up was the Spurs going up against the Raptors. This was Stephon Castle's last time to give the voters exactly what they needed to see to give him that vote for the Rookie of the Year here. I think he got the job done. I think he will be the Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's a question in my mind he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. They came back, won this game, 125-118. They were 22 points down. It was a type of performance that you need to go ahead and solidify that Rookie of the Year pick. I'm trying to tell you, I know he's going to win it. I don't know what the odds are. I'm going to look it up here after the show, but he's going to win that thing here. Next game up was the biggest game on the slate of the day. It was the Clippers going up against the Warriors. Don't worry, the Clippers had something for the Warriors in store. They got the job done in overtime, 124 to 119. If you watch this game, it was exactly what you thought it was going to be. The Golden State Warriors, they gave the Clippers everything they could handle and then some. But I'm here to tell you, we're going to talk about the Clippers here in just a minute. The Clippers looking like one of the most formidable forces in the NBA. Next game up was the Lakers going against the Trailblazers. Of course, we took the Trailblazers in this game knowing that the Lakers weren't playing anybody except for Bronny. Bronny, he only had 4 points in this game to show. My goodness, they lost this game 109 to 81. We'll see the Lakers moving forward here against Ant. What a series that's going to be. Next game and the last game of the NBA regular season was the Kings going up against the Phoenix Suns. My goodness, this game was a little closer than I thought it was going to be, especially since Sacramento needed this game, or at least I thought they needed this game going into it here. They ended up winning this game 109 to 98. I know Phoenix is happy this year is over with. I've already heard rumors about KD working with them to figure out where his next home is going to be. I don't know where it's going to be, but I know what we saw out of the Phoenix Suns last year with the highest payroll of all time was absolutely a disaster. All right, I'm excited about the playoffs here. We got to break these playing games down. And, of course, I got a dark horse we got to talk about here on the 410. We got 2 games on the slate, the playing games. It can't get any more real than what it's going to be tonight here. First game up, we got the Magic going up against the Atlanta Hawks. Of course, the Magic and Hawks just played the other day, but nobody played in that game, so that game really doesn't matter at all. The Magic, they're the #1 defensive rated team in the league, so I definitely like to see that. But the Atlanta Hawks, I'm telling you, when they get rolling, they get rolling. And I love Atlanta in this game with the points. As far as who's going to win the game, I'm just going to take Atlanta to win the game because it's not a 7-game series. It's just who's going to win the one game here. I think Atlanta get the job done here. I really do. I'm going to take Atlanta plus the points here. I'm actually going to take Atlanta to win this game. Next game up is going to be Memphis going up against Golden State. Of course, Golden State just coming off that overtime game against the Clippers. Memphis, they got the job done against Dallas the other day. They were rolling. I don't know about this one here. They got Memphis with 7.5 points. I'm definitely taking the 7.5 points. If Golden State are healthy, of course I got to take Golden State in this game. But if Jimmy Butler is less than 100%, then my goodness, now you're talking about Ja Morant, Desmond Bain coming at you full throttle here for all of the marbles. I don't know. We're going to take a look at this game tonight. It comes on, what time this thing come on? 10 o'clock tonight. Definitely must-see TV. I'm taking the points in both of these playing games, and we're going to see how it happens. All right, let's get into the 410 NBA playoff dark horse. That's going to be the LA Clippers, y'all. I've been paying really close attention to them. They got everything you need to make a long championship run here. We'll talk about Kawhi Leonard. If he's healthy, he's looking like the second coming of Jordan. Norman Powell, he's not even getting a whole lot of recognition. He's normally the one leading the charge in scoring. James Harden, he's doing his thing every single game, facilitating, looking like the James Harden of old. Zubac, like I said, double-double machine. He's playing probably at a career best here. Then you have Chris Dunn, who is a defensive master. He's getting you 1.7 steals a game. And then you start talking about the Clippers bench. Derrick Jones Jr., who's doing windmills on people's faces in the middle of the game. Then you have Bogdanovich. If he gets hot, he's giving you 20 from outside. Then, of course, somebody that nobody talks about because they want him to do bad. But I'm here to tell you, he's on a perfect team here, and that's Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons can come in and give them 10 to 20 quality minutes every game, then watch out now. You got all of them players coming off the bench, all on the wing. The only thing, like I said, that concerns me about the Clippers right now is their lack of size. Shout out to Chris Wilcox. If we had him, we could throw him on the block there. I'm telling you, the Clippers had every single thing you need to get a deep championship run going. If Kawhi Leonard's playing anything like he's playing, that's an MVP, y'all. The Clippers are coming out of the West. All right, once again, thank you for your time today. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe this with somebody. We're going to keep growing here on the 410. We're going to try to make it all the way out west here on the 410. Also, don't forget tonight's games. Of course, we got a lot going in on the Baltimore Orioles. And then we're going to just go ahead and roll with the playoffs, y'all. I got Atlanta plus the points here. And then we're going to take Memphis plus the points on this chip here. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. And we're going to see how things go. Of course, once again, if you haven't already, check on your family and friends. Make sure they're doing okay. You never know when you're going to see them again. This is Adrian here on the 410.